Alright, what's up everybody? We are at Akhtuba 117-101, clip 10, small clip. If you fished here a lot, you've probably fished in this spot together before. And this is I don't know how much this spot has been tested this week. So the idea for this spot came off of the rufish4.ru Russian website that Google translates, and you do the best you can to figure out what they're doing. But it was just posted today and not a lot of reviews yet, so not a lot of upgrades or downgrades. So I really don't know how good the spot is. On top of me not knowing how good the spot is, I'm also doing something that I don't normally like to do, and that is using 3 completely different bait setups, and then we'll kind of adjust from there if anything seems to be working especially well. On the first one here, we have, by the way, all 3 of these are classic hair rigs, and all 3 of them have boilies and pellets together. The first one here is off the weekly buffalo list, and it's off of another list too. I saw it on 2 different carp lists here at Akhtuba on the weeklies. But we've got red krill pellet 18 with crab and mussel soluble 18. I threw some crab and fish dip on there because why not? And then what you'll see, the thing that we do have consistent across all 3 is Steelhead's silver mix. And this is a proven mix that folks use for silver carp. Okay, we've got some activity already here. We'll have to get back to what baits we're using. All right, this is a big fish. So, spoiler, that first line obviously is more targeting the buffalo. This line, I would say, based on the weekly list at least, should give us a good chance to catch silver carp. And then the third line is the weekly list for the rare black buffalo. So that third line might be more quiet if other fish don't also go after it. Now, whatever this is a good sized fish, so that's a sort of a promising start here. Yeah, and that one is pulling out line as well. So one thing I did not do that you should do when fishing these big carp is at least increase your drag a little bit, so that if this happens, because that doesn't necessarily mean that that fish is a huge fish. It could just be that, yeah, if we had our now it's probably going to get off now. I want to go after this fish first, because this is the bait that the silver carp weekly show up on, so it's still pulling that line out a little bit. All right, let's start pulling this sucker in. Let's also try to address our energy loss here. Yeah, this is a nice fish. And that other one's a nice fish too. If it's pulling out my my first rod has the strongest line and leader on there. Wow, so we're really jumping into it here. Alright, so let's take a little bit of a chance here. I mean, I don't know how close we are to being able to actually start reeling this fish in, but I'm going to try to walk it down a little bit and see if we can't start really pulling it in a little more aggressively. Yeah, it's not pulling line now, which is a good sign. At least so far it's not. Because that other fish is not going to stay on our first line very long. No, don't do that. I can't push it up any farther. We've got it on 29. I don't know if we could have gotten that first line in a little, like, fairly quickly and then focused on this, but it just would have been taking a chance. And if this is a big silver, it's of course worth a decent amount of XP and silver. So let's see if we can just focus here. Just have to be careful with that middle mouse to not snap the line. But I would say unless it really gets a second wind, I think we could probably even bring it back down to 28 and be fine. Oof. And there she goes. Well, I wasn't ready to jump in just with the big boys right from the start. But here we go. So we'll just keep reeling as long as it's coming in this steady. Alright, now it's fighting a little bit. Whew. Wow. Maybe we should have gone back to our... And I probably have the equipment to do this, but like on me, I don't think I have to go to the store for anything. But we can give this, both of my first and second reel, we can overload them a little bit more. I can't believe that first line still has a fish on there. No telling how long that will last, though. Just don't really want to take any more chances with this fish, even though it might mean losing the first one. What we don't want to do is lose both. Let's see it swimming right over there. All right. Yeah, I just can't quite move it yet. It's almost like we're at a standstill right now. I think we're still making progress, just ever so slowly. And just because these baits are showing up on those specific fish's weeklies doesn't mean that's all it's going to catch. So like this could be something different than a silver. I think that's a big head, yeah. Alright, let's see if we can do something tricky here. Oh, it might not work. Okay. I was just kidding with you. I was just kidding. Alright, now we can get it. Woo! Holy cow. Okay. Yeah, that was only 19 kilos. We got to overload it, or we got to be ready to really be in some fights here. So now the other one's blitz in the other direction. Holy cow. Alright. We don't want to get spooled. Oh my goodness, we were almost spooled on this one. Okay, what do we do here? I don't think it's going to pull line anymore. We'll listen for it. Goodness, guys. Oh, it's still pulling line. I mean... We're just going to go for it, and if we snap our stuff, that's why we have a leader, right? Wait, if it spools, does it just break the leader? No, I guess it takes... I don't know. I really don't know. But this fish has been on here so long. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Can we... It's still got some fight in it. I mean, heck, let's take a chance. Why not? Alright, let's see if it's still pulling over here. No, not really. It's just, this isn't that big a fish. It's just going to take forever to get in because of how long the line's in, right? Line's out. Alright, we've recovered enough line that we should be safe for a while. And that's a small fish, so if it gets off, it's no big loss. This one feels like another 20-kilo fish. Honestly. And I think it would pretty much got him tired out. Wow. Okay. So overload everything a little bit. And then try again. So far, this spot seems good. One fish in with two more on the line. It apparently is at least active. Well, you know, we did put our lines in the water like at one of those ideal times. It was like 20 or half past 20, something like that. So the first bait combination that was weekly for silver. This one's weekly for buffalo, but it looks like it's a grass carp, doesn't it? Or is that a silver? Now I'm really confused. Okay, grass carp. Okay, so there's grass here as well. Alright, we're catching the big carp right now. I just want to see if we're having to drag it over land or not. I could also quickly look at the map maybe, but that pulled a lot of line out. We were very fortunate that we just didn't get spooled on one of them. Alright, it's right there. That's a good thing. We should be able to just pull it right up to this bank. I think. Ooh. Okay, we can go down to the bank here. All right, just pull it all the way in then. There it is. All right, so this is the third setup, which is supposed to be black buffalo. It looks like there's a lot of grass carp in the water. So I guess as long as you're okay with catching the grass carp as well. All right, let's go back to 117.101. Where this madness all started. And I don't know that we want to overload the third one any, but we'll take a look at it. Okay. So let's see. This one we can comfortably go up to like 37, I think. Or it's 36.4. Yeah, and then what's the leader size then? The leader size is 36 even. Okay, so overload it a little bit. And let's get this line back out. Well, how about we put the clip back on since we switched the line? Okay. Okay. This one's at 28. We can overload this one to 32. This is the Megara. So we're basically putting the line that we just had on 32 kilo line. Actually, we could do the... $32. We are using mono. And then push this one up to 32. Okay, so this is the second setup. Silver Carp Weeklies is where I got this from. It's got Old Pal Grass Cake Pellets 14 with Mad Meyer Spring Herbs 15, Fresh Grass Dip, and again that Steelhead Silver PVA. I'm not going to be able to catch these fish fast enough unless all of them aren't as big as the first ones we've had. That fish is on or will be in a second. All right, we can just whip this one in, thankfully. And that is a grass again. So 3 grass in a row. You felt the power of the upgraded reel there, or upgraded line, giving this reel a little more strength. Okay, third setup. Now the question is, do we want to do anything with this one? 24. We could overload the Everest for sure. What happens if we go to 28 and then go to a 27 kilo leader? And then this one is on the weekly from Black Buffalo. Like I said before, it's got Old Halibut Pellets 18, Freshwater Kill 18, Red Krill Dip, and again that Steelhead PVA. And that Steelhead PVA, I believe, came into existence from Steelhead because of success on Silver Carp here at Tuba. So all credit to Steelhead on that. I think it's been around for a little while, but I don't know that for sure. I'm not exactly sure when he came up with that specific mix, but okay, a moment to breathe. So far we've caught 1 big head and 3 grass. All decent carp though. So far so good on the spot. We just want to see some variety on species if possible. Don't have a great place to put our lanterns, but let's just put some out. Every little bit of light helps at this point. And then I feel like I'm having a hard time hearing. I might have had it a little lower for trolling recently. So let's see how the rest of the overnight early morning hours go. I guess we could take a look at the weather outlook. Very sunny. Might be better towards the end of the week. I don't know. We'll just see how good the spot's going. But, I mean, obviously other people have had success at this spot. Someone has to post it on this Russian site. We come here and immediately get 4 fish in no time at all. Seems like the carp are biting here. So I guess regardless of how long I record or where we go from here, I would say it might be worth your time to check out this spot if you're up for some tricky carp fishing. I don't think I've seen you in our chat before, Relicade. Welcome. Level 20. 18 trophies already. Not breaking his rods or reels. Taking care of his gear. Setting things up the right way. Already caught some nice eel and carp. Bream fishing. I like to see that. Welcome. If you are looking for a home, a community in RF4, if you will search for My Dogs, you'll find it right here. 231 players right now. There's a lot of great communities. One of the things about RF4 that I think brings a lot of us back is not only the fishing and MMO nature of the game, but also just the great community here. So there's plenty of other great communities, but if you're looking for one, you're always welcome to join us. We try to keep chat fairly family friendly. I want it to be a comfortable place for anyone and everyone, but besides that, everybody's just hanging out, helping each other. So come check it out if you're so inclined. I'm trying to work in some of these higher level lake videos because I've been spending so much time on my newest leveling series and having a great time there. So I do like to spend a lot of time helping out newer players or folks who are going through the leveling process for the first time. But it's fun to get it on my main account too and check out some of these spots as things change. Okay, so we're getting a bite here on the grass cake pellets. What we'd like to see is a silver carp on this setup. I'd be curious to hear if other of you have fished in this spot, or if you've done a lot of carp fishing. I'm really hesitant to put different PVA bags, so I'm using the same PVA bags on all of the setups. Is that something you all do as well? Is that a legitimate concern? Or do you think the fish, the way the game is programmed and the fish in the game care about different PVA flavors being near each other? I also want to mention on the RF4 website, the forum, which I don't check that often anymore because honestly not that many people have been using it, but some people do, and there's been some really helpful posts here lately, I feel like. And let's go to water bodies, and I think it was under the Amber Lake post, and I want to make sure I get all this correct. Looks like we're about to get a fish on the third line there. Actually, there's been a new post about this as well. So as soon as we have a moment where I can show you this, I'll show it to you. But ultimately, I wanted to thank Hotspot. Hotspot did a tremendous and thorough testing of a place that I had fished at Amber, and I had seen that spot. I don't remember. I might have seen it on this Russian website is where I might have first seen it. But I just wanted to say that I appreciate all the work Hotspot did, and for giving me credit and posting my video in his posting, which he or she totally did not have to do that. I mean, I feel like all of these spots and all this stuff is pretty much just shared amongst the community, and it's hard to always give credit because it gets diluted and changed. But he did, or she did, and I really appreciate it. So again, when this fish quits nibbling and actually is something we can catch, I'll flip it on the screen real quick so you can see. And if you haven't read it all yourself, it's got some great information, and that's what made me think of it, is that Hotspot talks about over baiting an area. So like wondering even if constantly having fresh PVA bags going in the water, is that maybe too much? Do you over I don't know, bait an area? And certainly that's the case with spotting. You can use the spot rocket and all that, the ground bait an area too much that way. So some good testing though he did on, I think, several accounts in the same spot, testing it with different methods and all that. So all using the same baits. It's really cool, all the work he did. And then I think Gore Grinder then came back behind him and did some testing, and well, this fish might not ever get on. So let's look at this real quick. This is the post I'm talking about on RF4, and just did so much work and testing with different setups, and then kind of shows his final results, showing how the fish quality of the fish changed over time as he was fishing that area out. I believe, if I'm reading this correctly, this is actually the same person, just his other account that he was logged into. I could be wrong, but again, more information. And then Gore Grinder went behind him. Okay, let's go ahead and get this fish in real quick. We've got a couple of bites happening. So one thing I'm seeing already is, and you know, if nothing else, you might change the PVA bag, because that could be part of it. But one thing is, I'm seeing we are attracting a high percentage of grass carp. Obviously, all except one fish has been grass carp. Oh, there's a buffalo. Look at that nice buffalo. Okay, so the bait selection on the first rod is now the rig that has caught 2 non-grass carp. Both the big head and the buffalo both came in on the red krillet pellets 18 and the crab and mussel soluble 18. So that's really interesting. Okay, let me just finish up looking at this real quick. This is Gore Grinder, and he tested the same spot, had a trophy mirror, did really well. And what I liked about this spot on Amber, and I don't know, when did he post this? 12 hours ago. This spot may still be good. I should rotate back, but I like some of these ghosties were showing up. In fact, I had a scaleless albino come up in that spot. Oh, whoa. Did he do a different spot? No. Okay, he's talking about how that optimized him. Okay, maybe we need to check Gore Grinder's spot then. This is a completely different spot. Oh, you know what? I saw this spot on the Russian website mentioned as well. A new spot listed at Amber recently. That's cool. Yeah, I may try this. If I make a second main account video tonight or maybe tomorrow, I may try that spot. That looks really cool. And I appreciate Gore Grinder. I'm not sure, is there anyone recently at least that contributes more to the forums here than Gore Grinder? I don't think so. If there is, I've missed it, but a lot of good work. So I really appreciate all 3 of those posts though on the RF4 website, the forum. You know, we've been through a lot with the Discord channel blowing up, and then the loss of being able to post spots and trophies and everything through Discord, and now we're kind of back to the forum. So I think it's been a rough transition for the community to figure out good ways to communicate. I suspect that 90%, maybe more, of the communication of spots is now happening in chat channels, in communities of people who have rallied together to fish and share information. And then some of those people will then go and share them through streams, through YouTube, through the forum. the RF4 forum. Obviously, folks that speak other languages, like this Russian site, we're getting a little bit of information dripped from there. Although, even though Google Translate mostly works, I haven't figured out some of the things it translates weird. And so every once in a while, I'll have a question where I'm like, I actually don't know what that means. And I have to kind of try other, different things to try to figure out what it was that it was talking about. So it's not the best resource in that sense, but it at least gives you a lot of different spots to check, and they seem to be much more active than any English-speaking communities that I know about. I kind of wish there was another, a centralized English-speaking place again. And I guess the developers' answer to that would be, well, we've got the forum, and I think their stated reason at least, for moving people back to the forum was, we're in control of this. We know that these posts will last. Discord, it's harder to keep those for historical purposes. They can drift off and be recycled, but I don't know. For whatever reason, we're just not all rallying back to the RF4 forum, it seems like. I have no idea how active the Steam forum is. I don't ever look at that, but I don't ever hear anything about it. So, okay, so is this a little silver? No, it looks like a little wild or something. All right, so that's a wild carp on the middle line. And that's actually something I didn't check, was the weekly for wilds. It's possible that some of our baits are also showing up on the wild weekly. Let's check that, because that's something we might catch here as well, obviously. Halibut freshwater krill. So that is actually what we have on our third setup. Halibut and freshwater krill. And I'll tell you, I don't want to catch a 40-kilo wild carp on my third setup. That sounds like purgatory or worse. I guess if you told me I was going to successfully get it in, maybe I would be willing, but the process of getting there sounds miserable. Now, I wouldn't mind going against a 40-kilo wild carp on my front line. I probably have about a 50% chance of succeeding, but it'd be worth it to try. All right. So let's try to get a couple more fish in. I don't want to go forever long on this video. I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've seen enough to say this spot's worth investigation at the very least. I'd be curious to be back in this spot once the weather chills a little bit. What's the weather at Amber like right now? Yeah, it'd be nice to go there actually with all that rain and overcast. See how the carp are liking it. I'll try to be patient and at least let you see one more fish here before I take off on this one. And as always, I will, oh crap, now I've got borderless gaming bouncing up. I don't know if y'all know what borderless gaming is. It's for streaming purposes and YouTube and everything, it's easier for me to have this in windowed mode, but it forces it into full screen that's like, borderless windowed mode, and it just seems to work better than anything that RF4 does natively, so it actually helps me out a good bit. If you don't have multiple monitors, then it probably, I think there's a fish on actually. Is there? Or is it just moving around? I can't tell. There's not a fish on, at least not yet. There's a fish coming on that middle line though. So the middle line is the grass cake pellets 14 with the spring herbs 15. Looks like a decent pool here. It's not very big. It might be a marker though. Yeah, I'd say it is a marker. And it's another big head. We will take it. I still think something's nibbling on that right line. often does that happen? Someone has a frog on spinning. I just haven't heard of that before. Although apparently there's a lot. Oh. I guess you catch everything on like nasty worms. Is that what he means? Like a wacky worm or... The other thing that happened to me in a leveling video that I don't think I've ever had happen to me is I caught a pike at mosquito on night crawlers. I almost fell over. Almost scared me to death. Someone just caught a 21 kilo linear carp on float. Okay. Wow. So a spinnerbait. Caught a frog on a spinnerbait. Maybe that happens. I don't do a lot of, especially light spin fishing, that kind of thing. But I just hadn't heard of that before. So the grass cake pellet seems to be doing pretty well. The third line has been the slowest. The first two a little bit more active. Another big head, right? Not quite a marker, though. All right, fish on. That is really funny, Mouse. Okay, should be a marker, I think. Yeah, another buffalo. That's what I like to see. That is what I like to see. This would actually be a fun spot to stream because you probably get into some big fights, and also so many different species apparently are gonna come out of the water in this spot. Thankfully the grass carp, it's not grass carp every fish anymore, so it's kind of nice. It's getting to be that slow part of the day anyway, so this will be a good place to stop here shortly. Don't y'all feel like once it hits about noon until maybe like 6 or 7 p.m. it's kind of a little bit of a dip, a little slower. So how long have we been fishing? 30 minutes. 9 fish in 30 minutes. I don't know. Well, I mean, we haven't even started to get dialed in, right? We just kind of picked some bait combinations and threw them in the water. I think the biggest question mark I have is about the PVA. Not if it's a good PVA. I'm sure it is a great PVA that Steelhead came up with. But for this particular spot, I could see going with a little bit different variety. something a little more, I guess, neutral, especially if you're going to use it for all three with different baits on there. There's a lot of red krill in our mixes, or freshwater krill. Really, it's the middle line that's the outlier. It's the one that's got the grass cake and spring herbs on there. Herbs. So that one's going to be a little harder to match. But the funny thing is, that's the bait combination that shows up on the silver weeklies the most. And so, yeah, I don't know. Durr just caught a nice Xander. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap it up there. If you do end up checking this spot out, let me know. Let me know how you do, and let me know, or let us all know if you find some different bait combinations or PVA choices that seem to impact the fishing at all. But and what I often do on these spots, if I end up fishing them for a while, I'll try to make an update video just to kind of seal it up. I don't know how long I'll stay here, though. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place here recently. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.